Welcome, everybody. My name is Diana Gray. I'm the Community Marketing Manager for the Americas at UiPath. And I'm excited today because we have a amazing start to a series. We have Autopilot for Everyone, part one. I just want you to know that I will be putting the URL in the chat for where you can sign up for the next session, which will be on Thursday. So if you want to go to the next slide, Alina. I'm very excited to let you know that we have Alina Capota today. She's a Senior Manager of Technology Services at UiPath, and Russel Alfeche, who's a Technology Leader at Capota and also an MVP with us in America. So Alina and Russel, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Sure. Thank you so much for joining this session. I'm happy to be here today with you. I'm a senior manager here in UiPath. I worked as an RP developer before, and then I switched to kind of like dealing with Autopilot for Everyone. We have built this product, and we really hope that you are going to enjoy it.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining. I am Russel Alfeche, and Alina and I will be walking you through end-to-end Autopilot. I'm from qBotica. I'm leading the technology services for our UiPath implementations at qBotica. Yep. Hope you enjoyed the session. You want to go to the next slide? Great. So here's our agenda for today. So as I mentioned, we will be walking you through everything you need to know for Autopilot for everyone. And what Autopilot is, why is it considered as an agent, and what is an agent, and being able to install it and configure it in your own organization, UiPath Cloud Org, and be able to what's the first run experience for Autopilot for everyone, and what are the out of the box tools that are available without you even without much effort from your end to implement. And of course, some use cases and Q&A at the end. So, yep, take it away, Alina.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you for walking through the agenda today. Let me just start with the Autopilot overview, basically what it is. If you missed any of the sessions before regarding Autopilot, that would be a good recap for you. Well, in the context of our history, we started with RPA and continued to a whole automate enterprise platform. And now we are focusing on being the go-to solution for AI agents and agentic automation. And I'm thrilled to introduce to you today the product that aims to change the way we work and our customers and partners work, which is Autopilot for Everyone. Its aim is to bring AI closer to basically everyone. And in the next few minutes, I'll just show you how Autopilot can empower everyone to work smarter, faster, more efficiently, whether we are talking about marketing, finance, HR, or any other department. Autopilot has the potential to transform daily operations. But before we dive in, I just want to share a striking statistic with you. And according to the recent studies, the average worker spends around 28% of their work week managing emails and 19% searching for information. So that's a lot. That's nearly half of their time. And now imagine if we could just have a personal assistant or an agent that can help us with that. And that's the promise of Autopilot. Great. Moving on to the next slide. I just wanted to position Autopilot for Everyone in the context of our other autopilots, because we have Autopilot for developers that can help with creating automations. Basically, you provide a prompt and it will generate the automation that can solve that request. We have Autopilot for testers that can generate test cases, definitions that can later on be automated with Autopilot for devs. And we have Autopilot for Everyone, which is able to complete daily tasks using AI and automation. Now, regarding their availability, we have some that are already GA, most of them. Autopilot for Everyone is already GA. And then we have the business analyst who is in private preview. Okay, moving on to the next slide. We are pointing out the differences, the differentiators with other agentic solution that our competitors offer. And we believe that Autopilot for Everyone will help us reach the vision of a robot for every person or an agent for every person, because it meets everyone where they do their work in their context, in their applications. It learns from how you work. Also, it assists with the end-to-end workflows. It processes documents with ease, so you can just drag and drop your file into Autopilot for Everyone and it's able to interpret it. It can also automate all kinds of tasks. Using AI, you can be recommended the proper automation for your needs. And it also supports multiple platforms, Mac, Windows, and it's also available in N365 Copilot and Teams, by the way. Now, a bit about how Autopilot for Everyone works and the general architecture. We have Autopilot, which is hosted in Assistant. The users provides a prompt and Autopilot will understand the intent and generate a response. We have access to automation library as well. We have 100 plus pre-built automations that you can use. We have access to context grounding and also to clipboard AI. And Autopilot communicates through AI Trust Layer to the Claude 3.5 Sonnet LLM model that is able to give this nice chat experience like. We have document understanding as well and the connection with orchestrator. And I would say that's pretty much it. One of the most important thing is also context grounding. Now let's go to the installation part, and I will just walk you through what you currently have to do in order to achieve this result. Basically, this is the product that is being installed. Okay, moving to the installation, you will need access to the automation cloud. I have here an instance where I'm going to install Autopilot. I will go to the admin tab here, and you will be able to see AI Trust Layer. I will click AI Trust Layer, and in AI Trust Layer, we have the Autopilot for Everyone tab and also the Context Grounding tab. There is also the user summary of the total LLM actions per status and per product. So you will be able to see this information there. We have here statistics. We also have an audit. So basically, it gathers information about what actions were performed in the AI Trust Layer and also governance. Now, moving to the Autopilot for Everyone tab, I will select the tenant that I want to install it on. And I think that the tenant that I don't have already installed on Autopilot for Everyone is this one. But you will be able to see that currently by default, this button is grayed out because currently I don't have all of the necessary prerequisites, and you will be able to see the prerequisites listed right after the prerequisites for installation information. Okay, so we must enable the anthropic model in automation ops. That's basically the step that is missing, and I will show you how to do that. So going here and going to automation ops, you will have to create a product policy for the AI Trust Layer if you don't have already. In the governance tab, you can go ahead and click add product policy, select the AI Trust Layer and select the policy. I already created one. And this policy, you must make sure that the model Anthropic is enabled. Once you have this enabled, you will have to go to deployment, and here you will have to select your tenant where you want to install Autopilot, and for the AI Trust Layer policy, select this one that we have just created with the Anthropic model enabled. Perfect. Now, having done all these steps, we are going to go back to our Autopilot for Everyone tab in the admin view, and I'm just going to install the Autopilot solution. Autopilot is a running process, so it is stored as a solution on our internal top where this data is fetched from. And now what is happening behind the scenes is it is going to install the solution containing the Autopilot processes and also some bundles of processes that we offer by default. Most of them are regarding searching. So we have Google and Wikipedia by default. So for example, if I go to the orchestrator where I install this, I will choose the tenant that I installed it for. Okay, and you will be able to see the Autopilot solution folder, which is exactly the one containing the Autopilot process, the Autopilot for Mac process, the Autopilot FAQ automation, Google, and Wikipedia. In order to provide access to people using Autopilot, you will have to assign them to the folder. You can assign group as well. And when they open UiPath Assistant, it automatically will pop in like this. Okay, now moving on, we have successfully installed Autopilot, which is great. Now let's see exactly what other things we have enabled, because we have starting prompts as well. So starting prompts, whenever you want to, for example, for my own workspace, I'm interested in having some custom prompt maybe. Maybe I don't create a meeting summary based on a call transcript, so I can just edit that and just provide another prompt. And there's also the prompt sent to AI. If I was to explain how those work, we have the department, which in this case, as you can see here, it's this one. The category, which is this one, the create category. Then we have the optimize, schedule, and analyze. Then we have the prompt that you are seeing here. And then we have the actual prompt that is being sent to AI, which is this one here. And you can customize it to have these fields in which you just change the information by adding this kind of like brackets here. If I were to edit this one, it will look something like this. So in this way, you can customize the starting prompts. Now, let's go to context grounding. For context grounding, you will need to enable an index in context grounding and then configure it. We are going to do that as well. So in order to do that, you will have to go to the context grounding tab. An important part is to make sure, for example, I will add here a storage bucket in orchestrator in which I'm going to store the file which I'm going to use as context grounding. Okay, let's have a file that is regarding healthcare. Okay, this is the description I'm going to use, and I will click add. Perfect. Now, once this storage bucket is being created, I will go to downloads and I will add a file. So for example, I will add this one containing some information about use cases in healthcare with AI and automation, of course. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going up to upload this file. Okay, and once this bucket is being created for me, I can go back into my context rounding tab. Okay, and essentially go to the tenant that I'm going to use, which is this one. And I will click here, add new. I will provide it a name and a description. I will select storage bucket. I will go to the orchestrator folder and choose the storage bucket that I just created and click sync now. Perfect. Now I have this context grounding index created. I can go into Autopilot for everyone, go to my tenant. Since I already have this installed, that should be no problem for me to configure it. Just click Enable Index, select the folder, and then select the index that was just created. And that's pretty much it. I will just click Enable. And now this index is being enabled for the instance of Autopilot. Whoever has access to this folder will also have access to this index in Autopilot. Now, regarding to the automation properties, as I mentioned, Autopilot comes with some automations by default. For example, we have the Google one, which performs a Google search and returns publicly available information. And this is the place where you can configure your automations. You can enable them in Autopilot. If you have existing automations, you can enable them as well, set them as a pre-response, and so on. Then we have the advanced settings, in which you can enable and disable some functionality in Autopilot. I would say the most important ones are regarding the system prompt hints. If you want to customize a bit how Autopilot behaves, that would be the place. If you want to further customize it regarding appearance, we have theme, color theme, user knowledge, also whether to search context grounding or not, send feedback to UiPath, and so on. Okay, great. Now going back to Autopilot, because we have just installed it for this tenant, I will switch it, and I will also show it how you can trigger this context grounding index. I won't steal too much time to show you the functionality of Autopilot, because Russell in a few minutes is going to walk you through the first run experience. But I just wanted to show you that once you enable this context grounding index in Autopilot, you will be able to ask some questions based on it. Okay. Okay, just offering some information about me. Okay, and then I'm going to ask Autopilot to get me some healthcare AI use cases. Okay, although I have a typo here, Autopilot is now searching through the context grounding we have configured, and it's able to semantically match what I'm asking with the context grounding stored in information. Okay, great. That was pretty much it from my end. Another thing that I wanted to show you before diving into the first run experience is also how to install the marketplace collection. So if you go to UiPath Marketplace and you go under collection, we have the Autopilot for Everyone automations. The Autopilot for Everyone automations are automations that you can run in order to fulfill tasks from Autopilot. I will also share the link in the chat because I feel like it's important to have it. Okay, and I will go for the autopilot for everyone productivity, for example, which is the one containing everything you need in order to interact with your calendar, emails, creating documents, and so on. I will download this solution. And once this solution is being downloaded, I will be able to go into automation ops. And basically in automation ops, I will just go ahead and configure it. Okay, let's see. It's pretty much done, the download. So I'm just opening automation ops, going to solutions management, selecting the tenant where I would like to install these automations, go to package. As you can see, we already have the autopilot for everyone solution because that has been deployed through the admin experience. And now we are just going to enhance the capability of autopilot with the productivity automations. Okay. I'm just going to wait for the status to be ready, and then I'm going to choose deploy package, and I'm going to just install this as a new root folder. Okay, these are the predefined automations. I am able to just walk through them. Then I will hit deploy. Perfect. Now that the deployment is complete. Okay. We should be able to go to our orchestrator and be able to see here the fact that we have a new folder called productivity containing all these automations, as you can see here. Again, if you want people to have access to this folder, just make sure you assign them, as I am assigned here. Okay, now in order to have access to basically run these automations, I will also restart Autopilot because once at the first run and also the first time you are basically starting it, it syncs with what it has access to, the documents and so on. And once you add a new functionality, as we did for the automations, you have to refresh the knowledge that it has about the existing tools. Okay, having this in mind, I can just ask Autopilot what's on my calendar today using the starting prompts. And as you can see, it will prompt me to connect to Microsoft Outlook because we are using integration service connections in these automations. I will click connect. Okay, I will have to provide my account. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, let me try to do this again because it timed out because it could not create a connection because I got this error. That's just a Microsoft Authenticator error, but the second time it works. And as you can see, now the Authenticator works and the connection was successfully created. And now it will recommend me the automation. And in this way, you can enhance the autopilot functionality. You can add your own automation. You can also go and install the other packages that are available, because in the collection, we also have sales use cases and product and engineering use cases. So if you're interested in that, it you will have them here. Okay, and now I can run this automation and it will fetch the details from my calendar. This is how it looks like. This is the automation card. And yeah, I will be able to get the output. I would say that's pretty much it regarding the deployment and how to basically configure Autopilot, how to set it up as well. Now I will just transition the screen share to Russell to walk you through the first run experience.
Thank you so much, Alina. Yeah, that you covered a lot, and that definitely helps me segue to my session or to my demo, which I will start now. Let me start sharing my screen. So, as you have seen, what Alina has demoed, starting from installing Autopilot in the UiPath Cloud org, which means it creates or installs a solution package for Autopilot, and also configured Anthropic, the AI trust layer policy, and also deployed out-of-the-box tools that you have access to already through Marketplace, again, through automation of solution management. So those are the key things that you need to do. And then whichever group or whoever individual has access to those folders that you have deployed the UiPath automations out of the box, and also the core um, automations for Autopilot, they just need to access a system, and then it will automatically run Autopilot. This will auto run in the system. You don't have to run it. And as you have seen with Alina, it will prompt you to provide your profile first, install install the automations that it has access to. So while installing, I wanna cover some basics first. What Autopilot really is, and why is it an agent, right? Before we dive into the use cases on what it can do, you've seen how it can refer to knowledge bases using context routing, retrieval augmented generation. But more than that, right? What is Autopilot, right? So let me show you a few slides first. Okay. So Autopilot is considered an agent, right? But what's an agent? What is agentic automation? So agentic automation, given a goal and given tools can be the automations that you saw that was deployed. Tools are existing automations that the agent has access to, right? And goals can be as simple as, let's say, writing an email response based on a document received. It will process an order through multiple systems. So those are the goal, and your tools will be the automations. Tools can be DU, document understanding. Tools can be context rounding. So those are the tools. So given a goal and a set of tools, agents can autonomously make decisions which tools to execute to ultimately achieve the primary objective that was set, right? It can be a set of automations or tools that was run, or it can be just one automation, just like what you see with Alina asking for a calendar, what's in her Outlook calendar, right? So agents can do iterative planning, reasoning, and execution, of course, with the help of large language model, system prompts, and memory within it, right? So as you can see, without the tools, right, agents aren't can't really do anything, right? It's like as what Graham's analogy is, it's like a painter without its paintbrush, right? Agents is like a painter without its paintbrush, which is the tools it used to do the painting, right? So that's why it's important to have humans and robots along with agents, right? You have humans that sets objectives through natural language prompts, and you have robots that sets the guardrails with predefined and deterministic tools, output from tools or actions, while agents do the orchestration, right? And I'd like to highlight that the statement that robots and humans are the guardrails for the agents, right? Because agents, as humans are, right, they are non-deterministic because core of it is large language model. Sometimes it would respond differently based on your prompt, and sometimes it would respond in a consistent manner, non-consistent manner, right? So what the robots or tools provide is it makes the behavior of the agents more deterministic, right? Because if you ask it to do certain things, the tools that it has access to provides the limits as to what it would do. Um, and that's where the tools are provides so tools are your automations, right? The tools are vetted, so deterministic, and performs actions in compliance with your policies, right? So you don't want to provide the tools that let's say like just do anything that can break whatever application or 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 databases that you have, right? So these tools are provides the guardrails, right, in terms of what it can do and just within your policies, right? So and that leads us to what are the what's the difference between like just running a a robot with these tools for automation versus agents running it, right? So if you just run or have a predefined workflow, right? Let's say you have a Salesforce process that retrieves opportunities and get opportunities from Salesforce and then and looks at your email for related communications regarding that opportunity and then update SAP, right? So you can only do so much in a predefined automation that you build in Studio. You can only cater so much scenario, right? Let's say you can do the happy path end to end, and then like a couple of 5 to 10 different scenarios for exceptions, right? So that's a predefined workflow when you run by a robot, right? But what if instead of building a predefined workflow, what if you just give these tools small set of tools or automation? You just give these tools to your agent, in this case a conversational agent, which is Autopilot, and then let the agent orchestrate, right? By just providing a simple prompt, let's say, um, by just providing a simple prompt that let's say your goal is to get the most recent one opportunity in Salesforce, and is there anything related to ABC supplies? It will know that it will use this tool. Hey, I need this tool, I need this tool. I'll execute this first, and then this, and then this, and then achieve this goal, right? So that's the difference between a predefined workflow built versus an agentic automation, which can create a workflow using the tools, create a dynamic workflow using the tools that it has access to, right? It will be able to plan, and based on the output of the previous execution, it will do a reiteration of the planning and then until it reaches objective, right? So robots and agents work together, and robots can execute the tools, this out-of-the-box tools that are available that Alina has showed you how to install. So these are already ready to use automations. So these are not end-to-end automations. These are small automations that Autopilot has access to, and it knows how to use or when to use these automations, depending on the goal that you provided, right? So now let's just jump into a quick example. I hope that provides you a much better idea of why we need both agent and robot to achieve this much more reliable and also flexible type of agentic automation, right? So let me start by probably let's say I'm a before I start with some use case. So once autopilot has started, so uh, as you can see, these are the starter prompts that Alina has showed earlier. You can configure this depending on what are the most common prompts that each of your organization or users in your organization uses, right? You have sales and research planning, so they can just click this without having to type anything. But think of it like conversing with a human, right? This is an agent um, that is accessible through a conversational interface, right? But not it's not necessarily just to be a conversational interface because it can also be a transactional interface, which will be released by UiPath in the future. But this is an agent that can literally do a lot of things, right? Um, and you can see the automations that it has access to if you click the settings right here. So you would be able to see the data sources, right? And from here, these are the data sources, which includes both the automations and context grounding sources that was configured, right? And which you can enable or disable. So analyze PDF document. This is I think this is a document understanding type of tool. Analyze PNG or image. I think these are similar. So these are the data source tools, retrieval tools that it has access to, which you can enable or disable here. And all other automations or tools that it has access to, you can check through here in automations, like related to Google Drive, Jira, or whatever you have installed from here. So these are the ones that are out of the box that's available once you have installed in solution management. So that's readily available for you. So you can do a lot of use cases. Whatever I will show here is the tip of the iceberg, right? So you can do literally so many things to help you make more productive in your day-to-day. So let's say I'm a sales executive, right? I wanna get most recent one opportunities in Salesforce. So with just that prompt, it knows it will use the run retrieve Salesforce opportunities, right? I didn't tell it uh, to run retrieve Salesforce opportunities, but it knows how to run it, how to use it based on the description of this automation or tool. And it has, as you have seen, it has access to a lot of these tools. Let me show you what it looks like as well in Orchestrator. So once you've installed all those tools, sorry about the background noise if that's So you can install it in in a in a folder structure like this, right? So these ones are installed through Automation Ops Solution Management, as you can see the S right here. And this contains the tools and automations that Autopilot has access to. So I installed it in a folder like this, but you can install it in another folder based on how you want to structure it. And these are all the, let's say if you go to the Salesforce automations, so these are the Salesforce. Once you install that solution package, so all of this will be available out of the box for the solution package. And in the next session in the series, we will show you how you can deploy or make your existing automations be available to Autopilot as well. So you could create your own custom tools and automations that you can deploy and have Autopilot use. But that is for the next session. I just show you this, how this looks like in Orchestrator. So it's just the same as every other automation. So session. As you can see, it was able to get the opportunity name, right? And I would ask who is the primary contact for this opportunity. So essentially my goal is, without opening Salesforce, I want to update the primary contact for this opportunity. I want to provide just like some document samples here. Let's say I have a business card. I receive a business card, an updated business card from my from this a person related to this opportunity. I want to ask Autopilot to just update it for me. Update Salesforce. So the main tools that it is using right now is, of course, the Salesforce tools. Plus, if I ask it later, once it retrieves the contacts, in here, I can upload any PDF, any images, CSV file. So this is sort of an in-memory retrieval augmented generation, or in-memory, or it sometimes it uses document understanding as well. So if you drag and drop documents here, so you have a just-in-time like RAG. So sort of context grounding, although the difference with context grounding is context grounding, you accumulate knowledge base, or you accumulate documents and then push it to the storage bucket. But you can also do an in-memory document chat or something, or integration interface with the documents, right? So I will ask, can you update the first contact with the above business card? So now it knows that it will use the DU, or in-memory RAG, or whatever it uses to read this image and extract or answer questions based off of it, right? And then I said update first contact with above business card. So that means it will it will uh, it will use the tool the tool that it has access to update the contact, right? So it read the business card, right? And performs like lays out the plan, and then provides a confirmation to execute the plan, right? And this is essentially my goal. So if I click run, it will update the Salesforce contact. With just a simple prompt like this, I didn't have to open Salesforce, and it updated the contact for this opportunity for me, right? And you can make a much more complex prompt. Like you can ask it to, let's say, find and download related purchase order for this opportunity from my email, and then create this in SAP, right? So it 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 will know how it will create a plan for you, meaning it will do a get Outlook first, download the attachment, and then create it in SAP, right? So you can further create a use case out of this, right? So that's one example. And another example I want to show is, um, let's say you have uh, you are part of HR, right? And um you want to onboard you you want to schedule interview appointments based on the candidates that is in a SharePoint, a CSV file, um, and you want Autopilot to do it, right? So let's say I will ask, we need to schedule interview appointments with the hiring managers based on the job location or job requestor, which is on the candidates CSV and SharePoint. Can you help with that? So I'll just ask it. I provide this goal, and it knows what it should know, that it will use this tool, schedule multiple events, and as you can see, it already pre-filled the parameters, right, for the automations that it's calling, right? I just mentioned candidates as CSV, but in the back end, what it tried to do is fetches or looks at SharePoint, my OneDrive, and it looks for a candidate's a CSV file, and then gets the URL of that file, and then calls on this schedule multiple events automation, and then feed that URL into this, right? So let me show you that calendar, just to show you that it doesn't have anything, or probably yesterday it has when I was testing. So this is what the calendar looked like, right? So nothing for 11 and 12. There's only one. So if I run this, let me show you the candidates as CSV as well. Just so you see that we don't do something fishy here. Oh, yeah, here. We open it real quick. Uh, my machine is not cooperating. It's a bit slow today, so please bear with me for a sec. It's opening. Okay, it's opening now. So this is what the candidate that CSV looks like. If I can drag this over the screen, please cooperate.
Yeah, just so you know, we're not seeing anything yet, Russell.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to drag the CSV file. So this is the CSV file that contains the candidates, and I asked it, so it was able to identify the URL of this file without me providing it. And if I go back to Autopilot, so now you know that there's a CSV file that this one, and then if I run this, I confirm that yes, this is what I need. And then it will do the scheduling. Once it's done, So as you can see, I provided a very, very seemingly simple goal, but the process behind it is complex, right? It would have taken me like north of 10 minutes or even more to do this scheduling if I do this manually. But what I did is just I asked Autopilot to run, look for the candidate CSV in the SharePoint, and then schedule it for me, right? So that's really a significant for me, it's a significant productivity boost, right? Instead of me spending the time on this, so it's really just a few seconds or 1 minute, it does the job, right? And this is just a tip of the iceberg. And yeah, we have more things to show on this part of the series. But I want to stop here to make sure that we answer questions. Um, and if you have anything that you'd like to see further, so please let us know.
So, Russell, the first question that I think hasn't been answered is, once you start using AI units, how are they consumed? Are they per action, per token, or some other method?
Do you want to answer to that, Alina?
Yeah, sure. So regarding how we consume AI units, we are considering every action that is being executed or being, like every interaction an AI unit. I understand the concern. There are going to be bundles in which you will be able to buy AI units. So, it's kind of feasible and it's a correct cost of using this product. So, yeah, that's yet to come in terms of pricing and licensing. Um, Okay, there's another question regarding sharing a list of possible applications, scenarios where Autopilot for everyone can be efficiently used. And I will quickly share my screen and show you a list that we identified. These are some just examples of user scenarios. We have onboarding employees, performing time off requests, everything regarding enterprise knowledge search, so context grounding, brainstorm automation ideas, submit to Automation Hub, training, learning, development, digital paperwork, document and report generation, financial close activities, expense entry, start my day, end my day, IT self-service, and so on. If you want to add anything to it, Russell, if you notice some other use cases, please feel free to.
Yeah, absolutely. And real world scenarios. So we've been so our company qBotica has been an early adopter of Autopilot. So since before it was released in GA, we've been using it, and we've deployed a couple of custom automations that interacts with our CRM system, which is HubSpot, that is not available out of the box. But it's not really hard to build an automation for Autopilot. It's not an end-to-end automation. It's just like giving it access to fetch, update, and perform the integrations that you need for your, let's say, for our sales to look at the opportunities, right? And then follow up with this opportunities or deals, and then probably prepare a presentation, or probably for chief finance officer, for him to look at what are the active deals for this month, and be able to plan and do account planning. So all sorts of things you can do. For HR, I showed you a use case around onboarding, offboarding, and being able to schedule interview appointments. So there's really lots of things that you can do with Autopilot. And on top of that, you can even, I think one of the main use for me is you can interact with documents, right? Documents that you have. One use case that we've been using this is for, let's say, PO to SO creation, right? We created small automations that interact with our SAP to update sales order, to create sales order, to fetch sales order, just by those little automations, we're able to, or our sales operations team are able to use Autopilot to by just providing the purchase order or just pointing it to the email that has the purchase order, asking it to create the PO, the SO from this PO. Just by that simple prompt, it will be able to do the SO creation using the PO that is in the email or that what you have attached, right? One last thing I want to say is in SAP, usually there's a scenario where you want to create an order based off of another order, right? Another existing order, right? What you can do is ask Autopilot, instead of going to SAP, you can just ask Autopilot, hey, based on this order 5731, create another order with twice as much quantity, right? So it will use the metadata or the existing order parameters, and then use that to run the create sales order with quantity multiplied by 2, right? So it will do that planning by just you providing that instruction. It will do all those sequential steps. So yeah, so that's I just want to share those real world use cases.
Those are very good examples, Russell. Thank you. Okay, there is another question. Can you disable overages? Yes, we can. Essentially, we will have in the future a way to cap the AI units that, for example, Autopilot can consume, and also reserve the AI units for the Autopilot consumption. Okay. If we use GenAI to extract data from PDFs using 10 different prompts, how many AI units will we consume per PDF? Well, if you have 10 prompts, so 10 using of the GenAI activities, it will be essentially 10 AI units. Okay, any other questions before we close the session? Or anything that you would like to add, Russell, Diana?
Yeah, feel free to take yourself off mute if you guys have a question. And then I just want to say really quickly that I did put the URL to the next session, which will be on Thursday. So please make sure that you register for that so you get the second half of this session, which I think is really important for you to join. Thank you. So I'm not seeing any more questions come through. I just want to thank you, Alina and Russell, for the session today. I'll give one more minute for any questions. All right. With that, I think we're looking forward to seeing everybody at the next session. That'll be on Thursday. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.